I don't even know how that is. That too much?
No, I'm just trying to keep it out your face.
Okay. You want people to see my face? That's lovely, honey. Yeah, that's not that ain't it. Okay. Hello, everybody. As people start joining us. Oh. If you're joining us on Instagram Live, we are also trying to do StreamYard on Facebook. So
Good evening.
I might be going back and forth between my Facebook profile. I don't even know how this whole thing works, but hey, we're trying something new.
Doing the most. Consistently going to be trying to do the most to bring you the most. Basically.
To bring you the most because I am the most.
Basically, yeah. Absolutely.
To bring you the most because I am the most.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on, we're telling more people to join you, so we are going to.
Yeah, we're waiting for some folks to join us. Good evening and happy Thursday. Pre-game for Friday.
Thursday, as Jimmy was. Thursday. No? Okay. They said they're waiting for, I don't understand what's going on here, so we're just going to keep going. Let me make sure, give me a moment, because my phone is being used, I can actually, I cannot, oh, here we go. This is what we're going to do. We're going to see if we can do this right here. As people join us, we are going live. We are on these streets. It is Thursday. We have an interesting topic. Rob was all about this topic this week because he just has been annoyed by the state of what is going on in the dating world. And I guess we're pretty
absolutely
lucky we're not.
Absolutely.
We're not. She started following us. It's interesting. I think she started.
Cool.
That is so funny, but I guess she did accept the invite, so we shall see.
Probably not.
Hey, Kemba.
What's up, Kemba?
How are you? We're just sending out a few invites to let people know. How was your week, Kemba? How was the new JOB, the big position?
Let me do something.
Rob is changing things. Can you hear us? I hope you can. I don't know what Rob's doing with my mic right now. It is a thing. I am not sure what is happening. I don't even know what's going on over here on the Facebooks. Okay, we're live, I guess. I don't know how this all works. Okay, well, I guess people just saw all of my face on that. And Rob is fixing, okay. Rob has decided that we're going to fix the mic. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Because Rob is doing... So it's going to be like in my bosoms.
Well, it's better than blocking your face.
My goobity-goobities.
It's better than blocking your face.
Okay.
And
it's
my
better
face.
than blocking my face. Okay, we're
going
to send out a few more. I don't even know who I sent to and what I stopped at. So we're going to send... Oh, but these are people that... Don't even follow us. That's very interesting.
Maybe, well, you can't switch pages. You can go to my phone and do some inviting.
Hey, what it do? Happy belated
What's
birthday,
up? What's up? Happy birthday, sir.
Birthday. Hey, Angine.
We.
Thank you for joining. How's been everybody's week?
Excellente.
Our week has been busy. We got a lot on the go all the time over here, so
doing the most.
Well, yeah, I guess I'm always doing the most. Rob likes to say that I do the most, but I call it strategizing and multitasking. He calls it doing the most, and I don't think it's doing the most.
It's all relative, I guess. We all look at it a little differently.
Okay.
Me, I don't do the most.
He does not. He does not do the most.
Nope.
He does not do the most at all. He's just kind of calm, cool, and collected, and I'm always like, go, 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 go. Things must get done. It must be done on this day by this time. He said I would ruin like a trip to Disneyland.
Yeah, she'd have an itinerary.
There's nothing wrong with an itinerary. Things get done.
At an amusement park, there's something very wrong with an itinerary. Anywho, Single versus taken. Versus available. Totally different things. We might throw a few more adjectives in there because this is something that I really wanted to talk about because it's one that I've never really understood. How does a person act single? As far as I look at it, the way that I look at it, you can only determine a person's relationship status by asking them the question, what is your relationship status?
So, a lot of women would argue that. And I'm just going to play devil's advocate. So, if I'm out and I am with my girlfriends and a man comes up to me and he's giving me what I would consider the vibe or energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it up to me to ask him if he's taken or single, whatever I may ask him? Or is it up to him to volunteer the information? Because again, I'm assuming if he's giving me the vibe, we're maybe doing a two-step on the dance floor, he's bought me a drink, whatever the case might be, should I assume, should I ask, or should he tell me?
In a perfect world, he should tell you. But here's the problem. We do not live in a perfect world, and hence why you ladies get yourselves into so many situations. You know what they say about assumptions? It's the first three letters of the word.
You make an ass out of you and me.
Yeah, mostly you in the dating game when you go to assuming and stuff. Mostly you. But look, man, that's I'd love to say we could go about life assuming people are doing the right things and have the right intentions and are going to go about their business the right way. But look at the state of the world. No, that's not what's going on, really. So to avoid yourself being in an entanglement or a situationship or whatever in the world you will find yourself in, I think not only is that a question that should be asked, but some of the follow-up questions along with that, because we can be semantic with information, you know?
So Angie is saying, even if you ask it sometimes like, babe, can you do me a favor and turn on that light? I feel like we need a little bit more light on it. So even if you ask, they sometimes lie. So assuming he now lies, then that's on him. But if I don't ask, that's on me. Would you agree?
Absolutely. If you ask him a straight up question, are you in a relationship? Do you have a girlfriend? And he says no, and then some woman comes out yelling at you, get away from my husband. Then you have no accountability in that situation whatsoever, and you can move on with your spirit clean.
I've actually had the experience where I haven't had that many men lie to me when I ask. I haven't found that. I found that if a man is giving me vibes, here's my situation. Let me back up. I don't assume when a man is giving me vibes that he wants me. Because I don't want a man to assume if I'm giving him certain vibes that I want him. There are certain situations that you're in that, again, it plays to be friendly, right? I'm always trying to build my social network. I never know who knows who and what can happen. So I tend to be the person who's very personable. And that's the word I like to give. I'm not necessarily giving off sexual energy, because that is the part. Am I giving off sexual energy to imply that I want them, or am I just being personable? Because I remember a day where you could actually go up to a man and be personable and nobody assumed that, you wanted each other. You were just two people having a conversation. So I don't give off the energy that I want you. But if I am in a place where I'm talking to someone and I get kind of a vibe and I'm like, this could, when I was single, that this could be a thing. And then we'll ask a relationship status, because I'm a person I like to go into things with all of the information.
Okay. That seems just way too complicated for me.
Of course it is.
When I was single, and I make my intentions very known from Jump Street. Like, I'm not coming to be your friend at all. So there's that part. I can only speak for a man. I think that a man should move clearly and with intention. And I think that a woman should do the same, basically. You know what I mean? Because it's a two-way street. You know what I mean? Your lack of clarity can result in messy. So I find it very important to be clear from my position about where I'm coming from and how I'm getting down and what my situation is and all of that.
So since we're here to change the conversation around black relationships, who do you think it's incumbent on the woman to make sure that the man is giving her vibes, or should she be a bit of an aggressor? How do you feel about women being the aggressor in situations with men?
About how I feel about rabbits hunting grizzly bears.
Oh, Jesus, you and your terms.
That doesn't make a ton of sense.
Why?
Because invariably, once again, a man that really wants you will clearly pursue you and clearly state his intended purpose. Why is he there? You know, so back to putting it back on you. If you're not clear of that, or he hasn't been certain of that, you know, that could be that he doesn't want to come on strong if you're talking about an initial meeting. But after conversations and days and weeks, there shouldn't be any confusion about what he's there for.
So, I'm going to give you guys some background of what even prompted this discussion tonight. So, as most of you have probably seen, there was a viral TikTok that went around where a woman met a man in Miami back in August of 2021, and recently, as of about a week ago, she put out a viral video putting basically a montage of them together. Said she met the love of her life after a 5-minute conversation on a beach where she said she was lit, and in it said, well, I hope he's not married. Well, it turns out he was married, and there was a whole thing about it. Now, the issue that Rob and I both had with it, and specifically me, because I'm going to speak for myself in this one, is a lot of women came to her defense and called him a narcissist and a gaslighter, and basically tried to really come for this man because they felt that if he was in Miami, he was on the beach. Number one, he didn't have on his ring, and number two, according to her, she claims he came up to her. According to him, she's the one that came up to him. Either way, however they got in connection with each other, it was felt that he wasn't acting single, and therefore women felt that he had led her on. And then the wife responded something which I thought was ridiculous. She said, whatever is done in the dark will come to light. Well, baby girl, it was light because it wasn't in Miami Beach and it was a 5-minute conversation. So nothing became of their situation. He didn't invite her to his hotel room. He didn't imply that he wanted to fuck. He didn't make any insinuation that he wanted to be with her. It was a conversation. I guess maybe 5 months later, she was going through some pictures and maybe her Mr. Right turned out to be Mr. Wrong. She said, oh, what about this guy on Miami Beach? And then created this whole compilation. I think I was concerned because I said, I don't understand why women are not saying, this shit is crazy. Girl, it was a 5-minute conversation on a beach and you were drunk. So how does a 5-minute conversation on a beach where you're drunk, you don't know this man's name, you don't know where he's from, you don't know his circumstances, and truly, if you had an intuition that he was married, it almost says to me that he wasn't giving you that vibe.
Yeah. But my problem is the 5 months. Like, that's just ridiculous. How does she have the right, as we were talking the other day, like, put out a damn bolo for your boy, like, be on the lookout for this man after 5 months.
That part.
So that's why we got to somebody like, what's an acceptable, because I actually asked one of my homeboys just kind of joking. I was like, yo, cuz, if a chick came up to you and was like, yo, I'm feeling you, checking you out, I like your style, let me get your number so I can reach out to you, and she called you up 5 months later, like, what's going on, boy, how you been? How would you respond to that? And he was basically, his one-word response was, get the fuck out of here. Like, what? That, who accepts rhythm after 5 months. Like, I would be so highly offended that someone would step to me after that length of time thinking that I'd still be checking for them. Like, whatever inspired me to give you a lane of communication to me is defeated by the 5 months of time that went by before you did anything. So again, that's the ridiculousness of this. This woman lived her life for 5 months, and obviously things wasn't great, because if they was great, she would have never been looking for no dude from Miami from 5 months ago.
Whose name she didn't know.
Didn't even know, didn't have a number, didn't have nothing. And that's acceptable. So it really just made me like, again, like, who's moving like who? Like, that's ridiculous to me right
so
there.
Cass says it's about a week.
Was she going to propose to him?
That was the response on our poll. So we asked a couple of questions on the poll. One was, after meeting someone, what's an acceptable amount of time to reach out? We had two options, days or weeks. 85% of people said days. 15% said weeks. There was clearly no option for months, because that's ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
Yeah, about a week. I get you. You might, be like, yo, my work life crazy. So, yeah, you got 1 weekend. If you ain't hit me up by that coming weekend and that goes by, then I'm kind of like, it ain't me. And I'm a guy, so I can't even imagine how a woman would let some guy, you give him your phone number and he calls you after 6 weeks. Like, what's up, girl?
That has happened to me and to all the people here from Toronto. Shout out to my Toronto people. But living in Toronto, let me tell you something. Living in Toronto, I have had that experience more than one time, okay? Where a guy has seen me, looked at me all night, finally comes over, I give him the number, and does not call me or reach out for months. Then hits me up on WhatsApp like, hey, what's good? And I'm like, who in the are you? Because I done forgot. Like, my memory's not that great. And again, it's been months. You know how much things have happened in my life in months? Hello. We ended up in cohabitation in 3 months. So a lot of things happened in my life in months. As if I'm supposed to be like, hey, yo, like, what is the expectation after months of reaching out to someone? Like, I'm going to be like, hey, yeah, sure, we'll go out, we'll get to know each other. If you wanted to get to know me, okay, you would have called me. My acceptable amount of time is 3 days, 72 hours. You have 72 hours.
Here's what I extrapolate from that behavior. Ridiculous. One of two things. Either you think you're super amazing, or you think I'm super thirsty.
That part.
It's one or the other.
Of which I am not.
And I'm probably more likely assuming you think that I'm super thirsty because, that's the part that no one challenged a woman on. Like, sis, you said you met him in August. It's January. It's a whole new year. Why are you just reaching out for this man now? And like, what you know what that reminds me of? Like, when we was kids, remember when we used to be like, I called it?
You just said
yeah.
it.
I called it. Like, yeah.
No, I was laughing because I remember that
it's only one can of soda in the fridge, and you're like, nah, I called it. That one can of soda in the fridge is mine because I called it. I guess she called him.
And well, clearly she did not, because she had no phone number. Sorry. And here's the thing, and this is why we wanted to talk about single versus available versus taken. And it leads us to one of our other poll questions, which was very important. And, what's more important when you first meet someone? It was, the options were looks or energy. 43% said looks and 57% said energy. A person's energy towards you can tell a lot. However, it is important you do not misread energy, because if that is the case, a lot of men would think that I'm interested in them. I am very clear when I'm interested in someone. I happen to be, like I said, a friendly person. I'm personable. But when I'm into you, I tend to do a lot of this. Like, I touch. I'm a toucher. So when I'm into you, I'll lean in. I'll, tap you. Like, I'm touching you all the time. Like, I'm touching you. I'm giving you that energy that I am into you. there is nothing to misread. It's very clear. I think a lot of people are misreading people's energy because they themselves are putting something out. The other person isn't catching it, but you're assuming because I'm putting out, you're supposed to catch it. And I think that was her thing. She was putting out whatever she was putting out. He wasn't doing it. And if you've ever seen that video, we recommend that you pause it and almost look at it in stages. And you will see there was a level of uncomfortableness that man was experienced when she was kind of holding him and he was kind of walking away. It was not saying I am into you.
You got me thinking heavily now. And okay, in a traditional sense of it, I think when there's chemistry, i.e., boy meets girl, boy likes girl, girl likes boy, two A's kick off. And they both have to do with attraction. A man who is truly attracted to a woman, I like to believe he will show some aggression. Some type of assertiveness, some type of I want you, some type of you're not going anywhere. And when a woman likes you, when a girl likes boy, you will sense some type of affection, as you just said. Touching, feeling, laughing way harder at your jokes than they actually funny. Things like that. Like, that's when you kind of like, okay, she give me some rhythm. Like, she keep touching, laughing, giggling, tee-hee. That's all good. So, again, that's why I come back to, like, why? So that's hence the question we had earlier. Why should a woman not pursue a man? Because she's in masculine energy of aggression. Ooh. So what the man's supposed to do now? Like be like, ooh, girl, like tickle. What you gonna tickle him? Like what the hell is going on? Like if you take the aggression from the man, what he got to demonstrate to you? Like, and we've had that conversation before. It's like society. You can't take away the ways that a man shows he's a man and then be like, what's up with you?
Well, Cass says, I have to be attracted to you, so something about your looks first, then the energy. And she says, I agree with what you're saying. And you can see it in the man's eyes, no mistaking it. I agree.
Absolutely. And absolutely about that. Listen, there can't be how is the energy positive if there's no attraction? You know what I'm saying? Like, it can't be chemistry because that's like the video what you saying where bruh is, to me as a guy, it's almost like he's uncomfortable with her trying to demonstrate an affection to him, which is again an indicator of, like yo.
It was kind of like this.
Yeah, we're not booed up.
One-handed
we
hug
are
to take a picture.
not
There's
booed
kind of
up.
It's almost got the Heisman thing, like that kind of stance of like, no, I'm not about it. And the issue that I'm having is, I feel like nowadays there is no distinction, there's no line between whether I like you or whether I don't. These days, a simple compliment means that you want me. A simple hello means, and this is generally from a lot from men to women. I don't really find that from women to men because I walk down the street all the time. I say hello to people. I don't have guys just stopping because I've said hello. It's like, hey, how are you? And we keep going. You know, when I'm going to like on my hikes or the grocery store or whatever, I just generally like to do that, right? Guys aren't stopping and be like, oh let me get your number, right? It's usually a hey, and we're going on our business. I find that in these days, it's the very opposite. Here's the thing. Black men love black women. Let's stop this narrative about black men want white women and black men want, Asian women and black men love black women. I am a black woman that I know black men love. I've never had an issue with black men showing me attention, but not everything is affection. Right? Not everything is affection. Attention does not mean affection. Someone can show you attention without showing you affection. That man was giving that woman some attention. He wasn't giving her any affection. Very different. Very, very different. So again,
there was no aggression, but again, from the male, it's about his aggression. There was no where you later, how we getting back up,
that part.
when am I gonna see you again? how am I leaving the beach without your number or without making sure that we have a way to get in touch with each other? There was absolutely no aggression from this guy. And that's what he was trying to kind of explain. He was just being like,
he was a man on vacation.
He was on vacation, you know what I mean?
He was a man on vacation. Again, I've said it before. I've taken many vacations. I have been to that same Miami beach that they've been to. It is very clear. Again, I have pictures with random men from probably, my girlfriend Naomi was on. She could probably pull out and come live with pictures of random people we have. We're like, who are these random people? But people tend to be more friendly on vacation. Are we okay?
Yeah,
they see attractive people and they want to
wait till we drop that message.
What it's doing. Can you guys still hear us and see us? Again, vacation has his first boy trip in our relationship. I am not going to assume that they're not going to tall, handsome black men. And so guess what? If they're doing that when I'm there, that they're going to do that on vacation. Hold on, guys. We're going to try to figure out due to poor connection. I don't understand why
it's Instagram.
Look, we're on StreamYard on Facebook, and we seem to be doing again and figure out. Sorry, everyone. Just give us a second.
Take the Wi-Fi off?
Yes, and turn it back on. We have to disconnect and reconnect. So we're just going to give it a second. It's like the absolute no. Let's see what is going on. I'm going to read it quickly, but hopefully that worked. Cass is saying friendliness is not I want you. You know what says I want you? I want you. Basically.
Now, you know what else you had me thinking about when you were there is that, and again, this situation occurred in Miami. And I think most people, if you're familiar with the city, know that one of the best attractions, one of the best landmarks, one of the best photo opportunities in Miami is people, like straight up and down. Like you've said, on girl trips, you take photos with guys. I know every time I've been in Miami, you always take pictures, like you're in groups, you see people, people jump in your framing. It's one city where attractiveness is a form of currency almost. You know what I'm saying? So that's really normal behavior for just random people to be like, take this picture with me. And again, you're in bathing suits, you're in bikinis, you know,
especially it's just on Miami
Beach
or on
the
Ocean
energy
Drive.
of the city in general is, so it's kind of a not like Midtown Manhattan where
everybody's on the go,
where a random interaction is going to be a lot differently in downtown New York than it's going to be on Miami Beach, just because of the nature of Miami Beach. That's kind of what I'm saying. So this woman just really kind of like violated the code almost, in that you're on the beach recording, which you don't really see a whole lot of people doing in Miami because it's kind of considered uncouth.
A considerable amount of time in Miami, and I can't say that I have videos of me and the girls on the beach.
No, like people take their flicks, but you don't really see nobody with their camera out recording. So that,
especially in
that
the water,
aspect of it made it,
especially in the water,
right? It just made it really weird.
So let's go through and let's see what people think when someone is single. And if anybody wants to come on, you guys can feel free. But when someone is single, what does that mean? What does single mean in today's dating market? Because I think single means unattached.
Yeah, single means you don't claim anybody.
And no one's claiming you.
And no one's claiming you, right.
That would be single to me.
Kind of how I look at it as well. Single is...
But you can still be dating when you're single, right? You're just not dating someone exclusively.
You can be dating several people and still be single. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I want to clarify what's going on. So again, when we say single, and I want to know the ladies and the gentlemen that are on, if you agree with this. So in our minds, so Cass is saying not committed. So right. In our minds, single means that you are available, you are not attached to one single person, but you are dating. You're dating trying to get to know people, but you aren't claiming anyone, and most importantly, no one is claiming you. Correct.
Right. And to the degree that you have that someone can't claim you, you know what I mean? There's definitely some wild stuff going on out here in these streets.
Women try to claim that whole man on
But
stage.
yeah, there you really should not be like that's hence the being in a relationship with single people. You know, you're not single only. You know, you're not single just by claiming someone. That person has to claim you back.
That part.
That part, yeah. I think that's a clear distinction because you know that's when you get into I called it territory, where it's like him over there. I called it.
That
That's
might
him.
be me.
It could be. Yeah.
Shelly, am I good now? That might be me. I decided to lean back. I'm like leaning back, and I shouldn't be leaning back. So
Probably not. Probably
so
not.
again, so single, not committed. Taken. Now, when someone is taken, I take that to mean they're either in a committed relationship and or married.
Yeah, pretty much. Like you have a claim to someone, someone has a claim to you. It's not. You're whenever you're in public, you're representing not just yourself but your relationship.
Ooh.
That's the difference, though. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I get into acting single. It's like, well, hell, I'm still me. I can't represent her exclusively or the relationship exclusively. It's like, I'm still a person. I still can have a conversation with a female. But I think, like you said, when you get into aggression and affection, if I shouldn't be showing any aggression to this woman as if I want her. And once she starts showing me any type of affection, I need to curb that. Like, hey, I'm dealing with somebody and this ain't the right approach that you're going about.
And for people who just joined us, we're just going to clarify. So earlier we said how a man and woman shows that they are attracted to each other or anything like that was that a man shows a level of aggression. So he is persistent in wanting to get to know you, get your number, whatever the case might be. And I said that when I like somebody, it's clear because I show affection. I tend to touch them and different things to kind of let them know that I'm interested. If it is, Rob said it is unnatural, and I completely agree, for the woman to be the aggressor. Because when the woman becomes the aggressor, it's imbalanced.
Way
right?
off.
How does the man respond to a woman's aggression? I don't know if anyone has watched this show, but I watched the show Ready to Love. It's on the OWN network, and it's a black dating show. And this particular season, if you haven't watched it, I'm gonna maybe spoil a little bit for you. But there was a woman on the show who narrowed in on one man that she wanted, and she went after him with everything she had, but it was very aggressive. So it left no real room for him as the man to come in and court her. It was very much like, you're mine, you're what I want, this is how we're going to do it. And when he tried to show attention or affection to anybody else, she kind of came after him in a very aggressive way. And when you watch that show, it was kind of like, that's not the way this is supposed to be. The woman shouldn't be... Like, I don't know. I couldn't imagine
It's
staking
wild,
my
man.
claim on Rob without Rob showing me any interest.
What up, man? Yo, what up, Drake, man? Remember, like in the, I remember coming up, there was like this imagery of like, and I guess it was around like the Flintstones or something like that, of like the man with the club, and he would hit the woman in the head and drag her back to the cave and take. It was never the woman hitting the man over the head and dragging him back to the cave. You know what I'm saying? But in 2022, that's exactly what's going on. Is like women are trying to behave and move in a place and say, "You're my man," but they don't understand how uncomfortable that makes a dude. Like again, it's kind of emasculating for a woman to just be like, "You're mine, bitch." You know, like that's
the energy. gives off.
Yeah, though, for
it gives
real.
off that
Like,
type of
yo,
energy,
like that's like, and again, and it kind of puts the man by definition in a weird kind of, and that was the vibe I got off of Cuz. It's nothing against him. He could be a stand-up dude, but the way they whole relationship went about was like, she told him from jump, "You're mine," and she was like shooing people away, and he didn't even get a chance to enjoy the whole process of being on the show because of this. And I'm like, I don't get him long-term chances of being together because now he's in a place of, and I've been that before. Sometimes dudes, when you make a bad choice, you'll double down on it because you don't want to be wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's kind of the energy he's moving in right now, just in my interpretation, because all he does is defend her. And again, that cannot last. As a man, when you find yourself in a position where all you doing is defending the behavior of your woman, that's totally unacceptable. And I would even take it as far as saying, as a woman, when all you're doing is defending the behavior of your partner, your man, it's an unacceptable situation, yo.
No, it's not bound to work. And I think, like you said, in this day and age, in this new dating, I don't know. It's like people are out of their natural habitats.
Well, absolutely, because people ain't even truly being themselves, you know what I mean? Everybody want to be accepted, but don't nobody want to accept no one. And that's just wild to me. It's like it's a two-way street. If you want someone to accept you, good, bad, and ugly, because that's how we all want to be loved. Let's keep it 100. You got to love someone the same damn way. You can't get it all and don't give up nothing. You know, the first time they make a mistake or something like that, you ready to dip out on them. It just doesn't work like that.
So, speaking of that, how do you feel about, so again, for those joining us, this show was inspired by the viral TikTok of the woman who, after 5 months meeting a man on Miami Beach, decided to put together a video compilation saying she met the love of her life. How do you feel? I just had to roll my eyes, sorry. How do you feel about the fact that when this came to light, the wife's response was to seem to link up with the woman against her husband? Because to bring you guys in, the wife saw the video when it got into the girl's DM and kind of made some insinuations again, what was done in the dark, even though it was in the light of day on Miami Beach, will come to light, as opposed to what I would have done was saying, first of all, I wouldn't even have approached her. That would be the first thing, because I would have been like, babe, this is crazy. Who's this crazy woman putting a compilation? And if I did, I would approach her with both of us and saying,
"That's what I swear to God, I was
we need
just
to have a
that.
conversation because we don't understand why you're putting my husband out on
We're not about to talk to her. We're not even about to talk to her, babe.
Even if I'm just saying, but even if I did that, it would be both of us together. It would be a united front to go.
Yeah, we'll make a TikTok clowning that dumbass behavior that she's out there playing on. Like, I don't even think that shit gets rewarded with no kindness, because she was not thinking nothing about that man when she made that bolo. Like I said, to be on the lookout for Blade Squad, this bald-headed man. And again, his wife, they obviously had problems. They obviously had things going on between the two of them. But again, I think that's more of a reason to double down and support your man. You left him out there on a limb where so there's a 5-second video of this guy on the beach. Nothing about his body language around her says she wants him. I mean, he wants her. She self-admittedly says she ain't had no contact with him. She ain't even have his number. Allegedly, he gave her the number. Like he said, he doesn't give her the number. Why would you side with her other than your own insecurity and your own issues you got going on with this man? But again, I think that was a great opportunity to solidify their relationship a little bit, of just how different would it have been if, because he don't talk all that great either.
He does not.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so he had to put out this like stuttery, stammery type of explanation of his perspective of the whole situation. How much better would that have been? How much more powerful would it have been if his woman, his wife, the mother of his kids was sitting there right next to him? Like, yo, it's going to take more than that to knock us off. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. Y'all, like, people have to understand, we live in a miserable world, man. Most people don't have nobody to go home to. So you really think your single homies is always grateful that you got somebody to go home to, male or female. And I think men aware of that on a certain level. We're not about to let no nigga mess our shit up at home too tough. You know what I'm saying? And again, we've been through our stuff. It's very different though when a dude going through some tension with his woman behind his homies, and like women, y'all will let your homegirl cause your man to walk right out the motherfucking door. And that's stupid as hell to me.
Here is the thing with that. And I think that was a good point, babe. And I think as women, again, we're here to change the conversation around Black relationships. When you are in a relationship, do not take advice from your single girlfriends. Women. I'm talking to ladies. He speaks to the men. I speak to the women. We speak to both collectively. So I'm going to speak to the ladies. When you're in a relationship, when you're in a marriage, do not take advice from your single girlfriends. My married friend, I am not going to go to her and give her, especially unsolicited advice. Your friends could love you, but deep down inside, everyone wants somebody.
There's nothing wrong with that, man.
Everyone wants somebody. No matter all of this, all the women that independence, ladies, remember that every single one of those women who have their fist up are now married. So while you're out there independent, all the women are married.
All the single ladies are married now.
Beyonce married, okay, with her man. Okay, and not a statement that she come out and made when her sister was beating up her man in the elevator. She was mum's the word.
No, they shit like Fort Knox, man.
Her
Salute.
Husband.
J and the Queen, and B, they shit is airtight though. They not gonna let nobody poke holes in their little love bubble.
That part. So it is not in your best interest when you're in a relationship or trying to solidify something with someone to go to your single friends with asking for relationship advice. When I was single, I would not be the person to be asking for relationship advice, especially your single friends who have never been able to make a relationship work and be successful at it.
Facts.
So here is the issue. When I'm not going to be a person who's going to encourage my friend after 5 months to put out a montage trying to find a man she spoke to for 5 minutes. Why? Because one, that's embarrassing. Number two, I would have said, girl, if that man had wanted you, he would have tried to find you. And he wouldn't even have let you go to the point where he had to have found you. So this is crazy. We're not going to do this. But instead, she was encouraged to do something that all it was stalker vibes. It is not flattering. It is, I understand that TikTok has a help me find the person or whatever the case might be. But after 5 months, I'm good. Please don't try to find me. If I wanted you, I would have given you that vibe. So I think as women, we have to be careful about whom we take our problems to.
Absolutely. Well, you got to be careful with who you vent to in with relationships, because at the end of the day, you're going to forgive that person. Your people ain't, that part. And then the second part of that is you have to understand over time, you're painting this narrative of a bad relationship if you're only pitching when you're venting. You're not really running to your friends when he had a home run or he surprised you with teddy bears and chocolate and champagne or just whatever it is that your love language. When he nails it, you don't usually call all your girls and like, girl, but you should. You should. That's the stuff you should be sharing and spreading. And right, and she do though. She big ups me, but that's a big part of it. Now she thrashes me, but it's in a different setting and in a different place, and it's one that I can understand and respect. And it is what it is. But and she don't talk about me to just anybody either.
I do not. He knows exactly who I'm speaking to him about. And that person has a vested interest in keeping us together.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the difference. I have people who have a vested interest in seeing me succeed in this relationship. And even knowing that, I still don't go because, again, I'm going to forgive him. The other people may not. And you know what? I remember last year, and as much as this became a viral thing and it was hilarious, and we've even talked about it on our other show, I will give it to Derek Jackson's wife. You know, helmet of salvation and all.
Bonnet.
Okay?
Bonnet
The
of
bonnet
steel.
of salvation, the helmet of salvation. Stop that. What do we talk about?
I'm sorry.
She sat there beside her husband and she showed a united front. Whatever happened before and after those cameras went off, no one will know. But that woman in her helmet of salvation sat beside her husband. She did not allow the gossip, the rumor, his admission, anything to bring her down. This is my husband. I'm cleaving to my husband. Again, whatever therapy sessions and pastor sessions and anything that they went to keep their marriage together. But what she did not do was go into the DMs of the other women or go on shows and bash her husband and all of those things. Because I think, again, I always say it. I will say it over and over again. Do not make permanent decisions on temporary feelings.
I agree. And like you said, there's something about a united front. I would think that, again, couples that tend to take that attitude of a united front tend to survive a little bit longer and a little bit more resilient than those that just let it fly right there on the spot, you know, because again, after time, over time, you start to paint this narrative, this story of this delinquent ass relationship. You know, you going around town and you know someone might be like, oh, there they arguing, and then here you go, another couple's like, yeah, I saw them at a different venue doing the same thing, and it's like, yo, that's kind of how you start to brand yourself, even as a couple, of being argumentative and toxic and I don't know, some people move in that space. Some people actually can be united in that. We're not that.
We're not. Here's the thing. We even have rules around that. Our thing is, if something happens in public, we deal with it in private.
Mm-mm.
In public, we're going to be hella united. Like, I could be telling him, when I get to the car at home about his Ross clap, Bumble clap, Pussy clap, I actually do not say that. I think it in my head. I will not disrespect him like that. However, when we are in public, we are going to be united. Because again, we need to deal with whatever the situation is in private. Because and we're not talking about stunting for the gram. We're not talking about capping. We're not talking about any of that. Relationships are hard.
Hey, it just popped into my head.
For women to do.
No, it's just, I think of the infamous Trader Joe's situation where, you know, we're in line grabbing a few items from Trader Joe's, and I paid the lady with $100, and her math skills weren't all that great, so she was about to give me the wrong change back. And Toshiba decided to correct her. And she's such a goody two shows, and I was big mad. She took away my opportunity for reparations, and I was so upset by this. But I ain't say nothing, but she knew.
I did know.
Right then and there at the checkout. So when we got out to the parking lot, she's the one that actually bought it up. And she's like, I know. I was like, yeah, just don't ever do that again. If that lady want to give me the wrong change back, you let me give her the wrong change back. I need my reparations.
So Candy, thank you, Candy, for joining. Candy says, that was my downfall in my past. I'm newly dating, though. My number one goal in the relationship is to do the complete opposite. Wish me luck.
Absolutely.
What exactly were you doing, Candy? I'd be curious to know if you want to write in.
No, I'm not assume. I just used that earlier.
Yeah,
I'm not going to assume, Candy. So, yeah, elaborate a bit.
Elaborate a little bit on what are the things that you were doing. But no, listen. Keeping a relationship together is hard. And again, our show is about changing the conversation around Black relationships. Ladies, despite what is being told today, it is not stupid to stay with your man after he has messed up. Why? Because we are not perfect. It was not stupid of our great-grandmothers. It was not stupid of our grandmothers. And it wasn't stupid at some of our mothers who stayed with our fathers, our grandfathers, our great-grandfathers after infidelity, after they went broke, when they were going through whatever they go through. A commitment, listen, and I talk about it in my new book. I was reading my book to Rob today. Comes out March 29th, everybody. Fuck Your Feelings, The Journey to Imperfect Love. It's going to be a good book. But the thing when Rob and I were going through one of the hardest times that we have experienced in our relationship, when I stopped myself, I had to say, and Rob and I kind of have a conversation, and that's when we realized we were committed to the commitment of the relationship.
Yeah.
We weren't committed to always being happy in the relationship, because that's not going to carry us through. Because like I said last week, I'm unhappy about once a day. Okay, like I've been better recently, but generally I kiss my teeth and doing all of that. But if you're committed to the commitment of your relationship, understanding that there's going to be bumps and hurdles and all of that in the road, then it's going to take you further. So Candy responded with venting and seeking advice. But in this relationship, I am being more private, and I must say the intimacy is elevated. That part.
Congrats to you. Shout outs to you. Absolutely. Like, that's a big part of the thing. When you're with the right person, they should be the person that you want to run to with good news and bad news. You dig what I'm saying? Yep. Because that's the person that's going to be by your side. Yep. And I get it, especially with females. Like a lot of y'all was doing the most, putting in all this effort, trying to show this man how much you care for him, how much you going to be there for him, how much you love him, how much you, all that other stuff. And then he gave you his ass to kiss, and you decided that what you did for him, you shouldn't do for nobody else. And niggas is not going to mess with you no more with that attitude right there. Like, because he's like, nah, I'm not going to. Imagine if men had to start going to prison for other niggas' crimes. Like, that nobody would ever deal with that or sign up with that. Nobody would come out the house no more, pretty much. Like, so, okay, let me segue into the response. So she said, my friends are so surprised, and this is Candy Goldie Rose. My friends are so surprised because I don't share as much and less sharing on social media. And why are they surprised, Candy? Why do inquiring minds want to know so much?
Why? Why don't we all be open a business, girl?
Why do they want to know how things are going so much? Like, that's nothing to be surprised about. They should actually be grateful. That means things are going good. Less said is a good thing in relationships. You know, y'all deal with y'all issues in private, in the bedroom, usually where I think problems should be talked out and ironed out. And I'm not, but
and we're not talking about sex all the time.
I'm talking about close the bedroom door. That's where both of y'all sleep at. And figure that shit out.
Sorry, I'm fixing my hair.
Fixing your hair and stuff like that.
No, but I agree. I think when people are invested in your success, and that's in everything that you do, we have to determine who is invested in our success. When you're building a team, if you have a business, you're not going to put people on that team who do not believe in your product, in your vision, in your mission.
Thank you. I was just going to say, for the football games here, you know, how many Bengals fans do you know of, you know what I'm saying, that are going to go to Chiefs fans' house to watch the game?
That's ridiculous.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why would you go cheer your team around a bunch of people that want your team to lose? Yeah. And that's what some of y'all don't get. It's not malicious. Some people don't even believe in successful relationships out here, y'all.
That part.
They don't even believe they don't even believe it's a real thing.
Because they're dealing with their own trauma, right? And you know, going back to what Rob said earlier, nobody wants to pay for the mistakes of the past of someone else. And so when a woman starts saying to a man, in my past relationship, he's like, I don't care.
I don't care.
I'm not him. I am not him. I have nothing to do with him. I do not know that man. If a woman had to pay for the mistakes of every woman in a man's life, what do you think would happen? Most men would be single. Because there are a lot of women have wronged him. His single mama, his grandma, the teacher who told him he wasn't going to be shit. We can list a bunch of women who have wronged black men. But if Rob had come into our relationship with, this person did this to me, this person did this to me, and I needed to pay for it,
we don't get to lead with that, man. Men don't get to carry baggage from their previous relationships other than their kids. Like, that's about it, man. But you don't get to be like, you know, my last girl used to do this to me and it used to make me feel like that. So when you do that, now you can do that in a certain setting, but again, that's not nothing that you get to lead to. So I'm responding with Candy is like she said, my friends and I have been friends for over 20 years and we are used to sharing everything, but I feel it causes problems when your friends are in your ear.
Facts.
Well, it does because of this, and it's just a little bit of human nature, and I think sometimes if you take a step back and understand it, if like I said, if I vent, if I, when we have our problems, if I go to my friends and I talk to them about our problems, they're my friends. They're my people. They're invested in protecting me. So, one, I'm only sharing my side of the story.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing ever being said about her side of the story when I'm having these little vent sessions.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a very lopsided narrative because it's only how you feel. And most of us don't really paint the whole story about everything, because there's a lot of, nothing gets where it's at by itself. So you've got that going on. And then so over time, it just continues to add up and add up and add up. And all of a sudden, your very good relationship, but again, it's not perfect, but it's a good relationship. Your friends are all now thinking that you're in some bad relationship because every time y'all talk about your relationship, it's the problems of it. You know what I'm saying? And again, it's from the fact that your friends love you and want you to be good, but that's why the advice is, oh, you're not happy. Oh, it's not a good relationship. Oh, girl, get out of it. You know what I mean? But I think, again, the men on the flip of it, we do advise our homies sometimes, like, yo, you got a good woman, man. You need to, because let's be real, though, a lot of, actually, I can't even say that no more, man. Like, women just as much of problems in relationships as men are. Like, I can't even sit there and put it all on, like, the fellas anymore because honestly, a part of me does think men desire intimate, committed relationships these days more than women because, like you said, usually it's the first sign of drama. She's out.
So I put my hand up because you used that word happy. And so I wanted to go to one of our other poll questions, which is, what do you use to guide your decisions, facts or feelings? 67% of people said facts and 33% of people said feelings. Let me just be clear. It is not Rob's place to make me happy. It is not Rob's responsibility to make me happy in this relationship. It is my responsibility to choose happiness. Right? When we get up every day and we say we choose each other, we're choosing happiness over whatever things. I have to choose happiness. I have to choose all of those things. It is not Rob's responsibility because in those moments where I'm kissing my teeth all around this house, it's not because I'm unhappy. I make a joke about it. It's because something has bothered me, but I'm done. But it's up to me to bring myself back. It's not Rob's. And I think for women, we need to stop saying to our friends, oh, you're not happy, leave. We know as women, we can be unhappy about the most ridiculous thing. But that's not on the man. You've got to determine, because my question to my girl would be like, okay, so why are you not happy with the situation? And we're going to walk through it. And we're going to dig down and we're going to get down and we're going to get down. Because again, if this man to stay with him, stop it, please. Mm-hmm. You're choosing to stay with him. Why? You're here. Why are you here? Not get out. That's not my natural inclination to say leave. My natural inclination to say, okay, well, there's enough to make you stay. Why are you staying? Pros and cons of staying and leaving. All of those situations need to happen. And so we have to be careful about when people say, well, you're not happy, then leave, because happiness is not the other person's responsibility. It's yours.
Agreed about that 100%. As far as, the state of your day-to-day happiness is definitely up to you more so than it is with your partner. And then I think kind of on the converse of that, we have many people that kind of go from relationship to relationship with this theme of it's the other person. It's almost as if the relationship is the justification for why my life is what it is because it's always this other person screwing my life up. You know what I mean? And I think that's easy way to kind of navigate through it and just justify nothing ever going anywhere for you is because again, I truly believe that the right people are going to bring out great things in you and the wrong people are going to bring out the worst in you. That's just kind of been my experience. And the same thing goes for especially for relationships. When you're in a relationship where it's positive energy, that positive energy gets reinforced and multiplies. And when you're in a relationship with negative energy, that negative energy gets reinforced and multiplies. And it just continues to grow. So if it's positive, it will continue to magnify in that positive energy and grow in that. And if it's negative and toxic, that ball of nasty will continue to get bigger until it obliterates the relationship.
Well, I put this one in the book. You can't grow flowers in toxic soil.
Nah, in radioactive soil, none of that.
How are you going to grow? And I think a lot of people are bringing trauma and baggage into the relationship. And that toxic soil, they think that they're going to grow a better relationship. That's not how that works.
Yeah.
And ladies, accountability is sexy.
It is.
Accountability should be the word for 2022 for a lot of women, because I feel like there's been a lack of accountability amongst Black women. Black women are not holding each other accountable for our bad behavior. We're not holding ourselves accountable. We're talking about protect Black women, but forgetting that the Black man is the least protected out there.
And I'm gonna kind of take this down to the street level a little bit, because it's for real though, because we talked about it. Why the man gets the big piece of chicken again is he's expected to die first. You know what I mean? And I think on a certain level, many women, if they're honest with themselves, they want to feel like their man would die for them. If it came down to the situation of protecting you, something got to happen to me before something is going to happen to you. I think most women want to not think, they want to know that they man moves with that energy. Like to get to me, you're going to have to get through him. But on the flip side of that, how can you expect and want that for him, but you don't want to give him any type of what? Commitment? No, the cost for him dying for you is riding for him, is loyalty. That stuff that you might have done and it burned you and it hurt you and you were like, oh, I put my everything into it. Then you got to put your everything into it again in order to get that man to feel like he would die for you. Like, niggas ain't just running around looking for nobody to carry they self for. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is ridiculous. But when a man feels like you are absolutely loyal, like, again, it's not going to be just a goofy mistake that he made or something he said or something he did that's going to cause you to have your suitcase packed at the door. Then that's when you start to get that type of love from him. It's like a reciprocating cycle. Loyalty is sexy as hell too. I would much rather be loyal to me than her love me. I can deal with the days that she don't love me all that much. You know what I'm saying? I can't take her not being loyal. That's bullshit. It just is. You know what I'm saying? Because whether y'all want to admit it or not, if you choose the right guy, he will be extremely loyal to you. Facts. Because, again, why would he die for you if he didn't fucking care?
And so this is why, when I hear these conversations on Uncle Kevin's show, it is saddening for us. It saddens us. We often watch it together. We watch Kevin Samuels together, and we like to break down his shows, and we'll actually pause them if we're not watching a live show and break down what's going on, because, again, our mission is to, again, change the conversation around Black relationships, because by doing so, by keeping Black families together, we build better Black communities. And the reality is our Black communities were not what they were years ago. I can tell you, living in America, it's an interesting place because, growing up in Jamaica, there's such a sense of community in every sense of the word. You know your neighbors. You know what's going on. No one goes hungry. When my grandmother used to cook food, if she knew such and such had lost their jobs, we would go and bring food to the next. Like, we would do all of that. It was really, the church was a place where when people really needed things, the church rallied together. They would take turns going to the hospital. They would take turns going home if something. Like, that's what I was accustomed listened to. So when I came to North America, and especially more the U.S., because growing up in Toronto, there's a large West Indian community, and there still is a sense of community. But I find that in America, you're so disenfranchised from each other that it saddens me. And so when I came up with the idea for the show, I was like, babe, we're going to let people into our living room every night to talk about our relationship. But again, my mission is to change the conversation around Black relationships and bring people together, because, if we can come together across borders, different cultures, through a pandemic, we had all of the odds stacked against us. And even with the odds stacked against us, we get up every day and we choose each other. So for me, I was like, building better Black families and keeping people together is going to build better communities. And that's really what we want to do. That's just my 2 cents. Candy Goldie Rosa, read that.
Black women are raised to be strong and independent, which causes challenges for Black couples because we are not taught to submit in most cases. So that is so true. I agree with that statement, except for the part in most cases. You could have just left that off and kept the period there. Y'all are just not taught to submit 99% of the time because, again, you've been taught that a man isn't worthy of leading you. You know what I'm saying? You've been taught that a man is something to be afraid of, a man is something that's going to take advantage of you, a man is something that's going to drain your resources, is something that's going to take from you. And there's definitely men out there like that, but that's not a man. I don't know how that got to be the narrative. You know what I'm saying?
Can I make a correction? And I don't want to be rude because I am going to make this a clip. I would insert Black American women are raised to be strong and independent in a way that doesn't allow them to submit. As a West Indian woman, and I know the African girlfriends that I've had and the other, Latin American girlfriends that I have, even the Asian, girlfriends that I have, and people who have been brought up around, we were taught to be strong and independent, but in a way that was supportive of our men. I said on last week's show, and it's a clip, my mother cared about 2 things: how I raised my daughter and finding a husband and making sure I took care of him. When my mother visits, if it was ever a situation where I didn't fix Rob's plate, not only would she be mad at me, she would stop him from fixing it and fix it for him. Because her thing was, you cleave to your man, and as much as I am out there and independent and I can do my own, it is so that there's a security in my household that I can, again, help my man if needed. It wasn't in a place where I needed to be separated from my man. So again, I'm going to make that correction, and I know a lot of American women may not like it. It is the challenge of Black American women and in feminism. Because again, feminism was toted by Black women towards, white women towards Black women, and it's not for us. Because again, American Black women were dealing a hell of a lot different things than American white women were dealing with. And a lot of those feminists were going home to husbands. Mm-hmm. So you can be strong. I have a level of strength, and Rob knows that. If needs be, I can hold us down. Rob is very aware of that, but I don't move in that energy. I move in the energy of supporting him. I move in the energy. Again, he leads, I follow. That's kind of our thing. You lead, I follow. You lead, I follow. If there's something that I need to lead on, he's very clear about this is where you need to lead, and it's only because he's not strong in that place, and that's how that's supposed to work. You're supposed to play off each other's strength and weaknesses, not hold our strength over a man, because the strong Black woman syndrome, whatever we want to call it, it's a fallacy. It was told by us to keep us in the workforce away from our men. Because guess what? Now, I said it last week, I'm going to say it again. Black women in the workforce keeps white women at home raising their kids.
Absolutely. And if you're strong, what the hell is he supposed to do?
That's a good question.
There's a saying, if you crying, what the baby gonna do? And that means exactly that. Like, again, if you as the adult are crying, what the baby looking at you like, damn, what am I supposed to do? Like, how do I get attention if you're crying for attention? So if you're strong, sis, what am I supposed to do? Be stronger? Men ain't with that shit, man. I'm not about to try to outmuscle no chick. And I'm sorry if that sounds offensive, but I mean that straight like that.
My name is Toshiba, and I approve this message. Because that's you actually stunned me. I don't even know what to say that because I've never actually thought about it that way, but that makes sense because it's out of order. You know, there is well, which movie was it? It was the Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. It was the first one, and there was a scene where they were basically talking about the woman and her strength, and it was like one of the guys said, like you don't need no man. Like you're still strong. You don't need no man because you act like one. Like you don't need a man. Men want to feel needed, especially black men. They want to be of service.
Ding, ding, ding.
They want to be a man.
I was
like,
just talking about
Rob,
that the other day.
Rob
like,
always
real,
wants to
man.
be of service for me. If something is going on and I'm trying to like do the most, he's like, babe, like stop. Let me do that for you. And I don't say, no, I can do it myself. I'm like, here you go, babe. Please do. Please. Because he wants to be of service. He wants to actually make my life better. But if I don't allow him to do that, then he's like, okay, then why am I here?
And there's so many ways that we accept that there's no possibility of us being able to do anything for you, you know. A lot of the functions when it comes to the family and the children and stuff like that, men are, here's another tidbit, men are, even the best fathers are insecure about their role as a father because here's facts. When you go out on Mother's Day, you better have reservations. When's the last time you had to book a table on Father's Day?
That is actually horrible.
It is. Like, men have become the offensive linemen of the world for the NFL football fans. You know what the offensive linemen are? Them are guys up front that block and protect the quarterback. Nobody ever notices when they're doing their job well. The quarterback's out there throwing touchdowns, scrambling, looking great. When somebody comes just straight through and sacks the quarterback and pushes his face in the dirt, everybody looks at the offensive lineman like, what happened? That's what being a man is. That's what being dad is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it seems like you're really only noticed when you're not doing your job. And men have accepted that for the most part. We're cool with that. We've just learned to be really good offensive linemen. But if you look at the payroll of NFL teams, GMs ain't stupid. The quarterback is the highest paid player. The left tackle, the guy who protects the quarterback's blind side, is usually the second highest paid player on the team. Facts. Look it up if you need to.
So how do we ensure that we are valuing our men? How as a man do I show you that you are valuable to me?
Put him in situations to succeed the same way that he would like to do for you. You know, that's the antithesis of most of the things that I try to do for you is I try to do things for you that are going to put you in a position to succeed.
So
would you agree with that?
I agree. And while you're thinking of that, I want you to give people an example. Our sponsor, Sorrel and Sage, has joined. As you can see, Sorrel and Sage makes self-care for the sensitive soul.
We love it.
They make natural products, none of this foolishness that other people put in their products. I use it on Rob and his eczema, and it's been working awesomely. So please check out Sorrel and Sage. On Instagram, they are Instagram, it's Sorrel and Sage CA. Their website is shopsorrelandsage.com. So back to the question. So again, give an example to the ladies of how I show you as a woman, because I don't want you to speak generally, but as your woman, what are the things that I show you that says she values me or will do for you or anything like that?
Well, again, as you've put it, you make me your job so much to the extent that is yes or no. Is there often times where you're trying to do something for me and I'm like, be gone, leave me alone. I don't want you to put lotion on me. I don't want you to put beard oil on right now. I don't want you to fix my plate. I'm not hungry. There's nothing you can do for me but just chill. And like, again, you've been doing the most. Like me and my daughter have been trying to do a little more cooking and like be self-sufficient. One, she moved to vegetarian and we ain't doing that right now. So there's that part. So we got kind of two different dinners going on every night. And the second part of that is that she works so hard at this, y'all. Like, I swear, I really want to give her props and shouts that this woman grinds on this show, this venture. This is what she wants to do. So that's why I say when I do things to try to support her is I try to find ways to get better equipment. I try to find ways to increase her productivity, things that's going to make things easier for her, things that are going to push this along further because I truly believe in this venture. I think that that what we're doing is valuable. I think that it could be something that helps people. And again, therapy is $250 an hour. So if nothing else, this is cheaper than therapy. So I'm all for doing this every Thursday for the 1 hour. This is our hour on the therapist couch. You know what I'm saying? And we actually getting to help people out with it. It refocuses us because, again, we don't go into having bad weeks and stuff like that because we got shows to do and things like that. Like she can not want to talk to me, but we still got to figure out what we do on Thursday night. And again, that kind of routine, and that's the one thing that it is almost religious for us is that is a part of our routine. Thursday nights, best believe we turning on some cameras and hooking up some microphones and gonna sit on this couch and talk to y'all about what's going on with us, what's going on in the world. And basically the shit that we don't like and we just want to point out and try to bring some correction to because it's just kind of out of pocket. Again, it's like up is down and down is up, and everybody wants to be somebody that they're not, and everybody's looking across the room thinking that they living their best life. And remember when I was saying, like, the grass is always greener on the other side unless you know the side that you're standing on is the right side. That's where you're supposed to be. And then you're just looking at the grass like you don't give a damn because you know you're right where you're supposed to be.
That is facts. So our sponsor, Sorlin Sage, just made a good point, and I'm going to read it. Laughing my ass off, Toshiba nurtures Robert so that he can focus on what he needs to do. And let me be clear why I do that.
Right.
The better Rob is in his production in life, especially his professional life, the better I am in seated in the seat doing what we do every Thursday. So I take everything off of Rob's plate that he doesn't need to focus on because it doesn't make us money. I want him to focus on the things that make us money. And he is the one who's the driving force of the finances in our home. And so if he doesn't have to worry about all of the other small things, then he can focus 100% of his day when he's working on that and not all of the other minuscule things that Rob honestly doesn't want to do.
I don't like minutia. I don't like the details. They're important. I understand the significance of them. So she supplements me in the ways that she'll hand me a cheat sheet with details on it, and I'm just like, oh, okay, because she knows I know what's going on. I'm aware of the circumstances of the situation. About, again, like I said, when I'm in my right energy and she's in her right energy, I know everything that's going on in this house. But I still need her to simplify certain things because there's so much that goes on that stops at the door. You know what I'm saying? As far as on the flip side of that, let your man protect you sometimes. Women, you don't need to know that it might only be 37 cents in the checking account. That ain't really your business. The lights is on, the toilet's flushing, there's food in the refrigerator. Count that as a blessing because again, I don't believe women are really equipped for that pressure of providing. That's why y'all are so torn up in this modern world. Y'all out there trying to forage and fight, and let a man do that for you.
So again, our sponsor, she's on it tonight. The focus is on making a better Rob because when Rob is good, everything's great. This is facts.
Let me fight the world. She ain't got to do that. She just got to help me do that. Some of y'all, like, again, back to the comment of many women think that men want Wonder Woman. We do not. We want Mother Teresa. We want attention. We want peace. We want loyalty. We want someone that's going to ride with us. And we want someone that understands that we're not perfect. But when a man has selected you, there's not much he won't do for you. But some of y'all selected men and getting what you're getting and blaming men for it. Nah.
No, it's that man. I can't bring, and this is why I think it's interesting when women react to a situation that is clearly at the hands of another woman but blames the man for it. Again, that viral video was at the hands of a woman, but the man got blamed for it.
It was a violation. I think most men look at that as a straight violation. Like, there's no way a stranger should be able to get you in trouble with your woman. That's bullshit to me right there, man. I would be so disappointed if some chick I was just chilling on the beach with made a post and, you know, again, sorry to cut you off.
No.
You feel what I'm saying?
No,
like,
I took a deep breath
because that's just foul. Like, even if she came at you like that, I would like to think that your inclination to defend me is a little stronger than some ragamuffin coming talking about your man want me and you like, get out.
Social media has become a really miserable place, like a very miserable place when it comes to relationships and the success of relationships. It is quicker for women to believe the narrative that a man ain't shit and women should leave. Like, social media is like that toxic girlfriend of yours. When you look in some of these comments of the shade rooms and the gossips and the Jasmine Brants and the so forth, say they put a, I'll give you a story. The Adele and Rich Paul situation right now.
Oh.
The Adele and Rich Paul situation is a very interesting situation right now. Adele has come on and said the reason she's not doing her show is because she's not ready. She put out a statement and it said that most of her staff has COVID. They're battling COVID. She's got staff that still has COVID. There's just a lot going on. It isn't, again, today's world isn't the world of 2020 pre-COVID.
2019,
we're in a COVID world and things are different. What people have decided that that's not true. That it's because her and Rich Paul are having problems and this man is cheating on her. So her white husband, who she divorced, she went on a health kick, lost all this weight. She's gone through COVID and survived what that meant to her career when the world shut down. But now she's with a black man. And because she's on the phone with this black man and in their mind shouting, could you think it's because she's having a breakdown and she needs her man and she's on the phone and he's probably on the other side calming her down? Because it was said that when she canceled her show, she got on a plane and went to her man. I went into these comments and black women were saying, that's why you don't trust no man, girl. Adele, you were better off by yourself, girl. And it was this whole, and I was like, I know that in my worst times, when I was in Toronto and I was going through anxiety of COVID and everything that was on my phone, I was on the phone with Rob sometimes having just a breakdown. And it was him on the other side, like, babe, we're going to get through this. We're going to get you through this. And the moment I could get a plane and get to him, I did. So people are quicker to believe the black man ain't shit, he's a cheating liar, than the woman actually coming out and saying, I'm just not ready. There's too much going on. There's COVID. My staff isn't ready. I'm just not going to put on. As being a perfectionist, I understand that. If things are not right, I'm not doing it. I have anxiety around it. I don't want to do it. Things have to be in place. But this narrative, the black men ain't shit, has gotten so profound and everybody wants to raise it to the heavens. Like, black men ain't nothing. We need to stop it.
Oh, you know, I agree with that. But, like, again, Rich Paul, we don't know nothing about Rich until his moves got so big that they had to be reported. And I was definitely going to get the Soil and Sage's comment.
Please read that.
So we'll do that now. Not every man is equipped to lead. We know this inherently, but we blame who we've chosen. And we need to remember that when we point a finger at someone, 3 fingers point back at us. I am about to dominate this conversation for a little bit because that is preaching to the choir, Soil and Sage. Men, absolutely no, not every man is equipped to lead. Not no woman, not no children, not no nothing. That's again, hence the comment we had last week of y'all out here carrying on with men that other men have no respect for. And again, that's on you. The second part of that I would like to add is, and again, my humble opinion, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's in the back of your mind somewhere, maybe it's Freudian, subliminal, whatever. But I think a lot of times when women find themselves in that situation where you inherently knew he was not going to be able to lead you, it's because you didn't want him to lead you. You wanted a man that you could lead, and you got what you got.
Some women don't want to be lead because they don't know how to follow. It's very difficult to be led if you actually don't know how to follow. And if you remember the game Follow the Leader, imagine that game today with a bunch of, we are the most educated people in the world, black women. Who are they following? Ooh! Candy Goldie Rose said, yes, so true. That's definitely me. And that's accountability.
I
and
appreciate
that is
it.
Sexy.
It is. She said, whoops.
But
no, it wasn't directed at no one. I'm just saying that, again, those that it applies to kind of understand that should strike in a certain way because, yeah, I think it's inherently you wanted to lead that relationship. That's why you were with him. He was your project. You wanted to get him back into school or to focus on his business more, or to be more ambitious or more hygienic or more whatever, because we all know y'all love a project. You just have to make sure that your project, that who you see him being and who he sees himself being lines
are
up.
Congruent.
Right.
They're a congruence, right? When you're in certain classes, I know in psychology, they talk about congruence. It's two things coming together and being able to intertwine. If they're like this, that doesn't work. They have to be intertwined. But here is the thing about it. Let me tell you some of the messaging that we have gotten, and I've heard this before. And I've heard it in my own life. And I actually heard two women talking about it on an interview the other day. And they were said, my grandmother told me that I should make sure that a man loves me more than I love him. And how do women think that men are generally going to love them more? Is if they give of themselves. If I pick up a man and I make him my project and I pour into him and he sees this and all of that, he's going to see how great I am. He's never going to leave me. And then I get to do whatever it is that I want because he's so grateful. That's the thing. A lot of women want men to be grateful for them. And how do they feel that they make them grateful? Because I was with him when no one else wanted him.
Nah, sis, that's kind of like, that's masculine energy right there in and of itself, you know. You trying to treat him like a woman. You know, and wondering why he kind of grows to resent the situation and things like that. I'm going to catch up on these comments a little bit. Candy Goldie Rose said, I'm definitely sitting back this time around. I am a secret boss, LOL. I want to stop right there. That's the only time I am, you know, low key, I approve women using that term boss is when they look at themselves in that position, secret boss. Like I said, when that bedroom door closed, that's when you get to be your bossiness, because women, you have to understand, your man wants to please you. He wants you to be happy for what he's doing, and he wants to surprise you, and he wants to wow you and amaze you and all of those things. You have to give him an opportunity to do that. And the way that you're able to do that is, again, by not trying to be the head. He's the head. Let him be the head. But you're the neck. You can turn the head in different directions by your influence. Look, if she wants me to move in a specific direction, she can apply pressure in her own way. It's not pressure like I get to apply. My pressure, it can be aggressive. Her pressure has to be affectionate. You dig? Back to just how you meet in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. Good job. That was good, babe. Sorlin Sage says, we're out here trying to grow us a man. Fuck that. We need to find them fully grown and rooted. You can't make a man a man.
Can't make a king a king. He can make you a queen, but you can't make him a king. Thank you, Candy. I appreciate that, for real.
And we need to stop taking those messages like we're gonna make a man a man. We're gonna do all of that. No woman can make a man do what he doesn't want to do. Do not believe the hype about that. Listen, I could have the golden pum pum, and Rob and I actually have a joke, an inside joke about that, about the golden pum pum. A pum pum does not make a man do anything he doesn't want to do, because if that was the case, there wouldn't be so many single mothers.
Ladies, men are. There's a reason y'all refer to us as dogs. It's because our behavior and our psychologies are similar. Like, let's be real. It's like, look at your affection like a Scooby snack, right?
Scooby snack.
So if you want him to do a particular behavior, like if you want to never have to ask that nigga to take the trash out again, give him some affection every time he takes the trash out. Like, soon as he come back in the door from taking the trash out,
thanks, babe, for taking
thanks,
the
babe,
trash
big
out.
hug, big kiss. If you can do more than that, awesome. But I'm telling you, he will start to correlate. Taking the trash out means affection. That nigga will take 2 cans out, just to get you loving on him. Because that's how we're wired, ladies. When we have chosen you, again, all rules are out when you choose us. All rules, because again, you are now in upside down land. You are in bizarro world. I can't explain to you what happens when you choose him. But if you allow yourself to be chosen by him, that's how it's going to work, okay? He will go out of his way to try to make you happy and to try to please you and try to get your affection, because that's what puts a battery in his back.
Because, and we always say, when the home is good, every other part of life is good. I think we've all been in the corporate world or in some kind of work world where we can tell when a man comes into work that shit is just not right at home. You can almost tell. There's everything about what that man is about. Something ain't right at home. But the man who's there and he's diligent and he's up there and he comes with his lunch and it's packed and all of that stuff, that crap is good at home. Rob is over here laughing because Candy Goldie Rose is saying, I do my twins boys like that. Now they fight over who will take the trash.
Exactly. They want that affection.
Sterling Sage says, fuck them, feed them, make them feel good. Facts.
It's not that hard if he chose you.
So that's why, again, single, available, and taken. Women, when you're chasing after a man, it is stalker vibes. And that man now is in a position where he's like, well, I didn't even get to be the aggressor, so, well, okay, cool. She's down for whatever, I'm down for whatever, but it doesn't mean I'm down for her. There's a difference between a man being down for you and being down for whatever you want to put out there.
Yeah, I would even say maybe that is why being aggressive isn't really fruitful for women, is when you're aggressive like that, that's kind of how a guy interprets it. Like, you want to fuck. You're not saying you want to be his wife.
All right, then. That is because it's, again, men energy.
And I think, again, with simple-minded men, is like, again, if you pursued me, how can I think you can't propose to me? That's
no,
stupid.
That's wrong. I don't. There's
That's
this new
dumb
thing of people putting on social media for the last couple of years, women proposing to men, and I'm like, that, like, our ancestors are rolling over in their graves. What are we talking about?
If he wants to marry you, he'll ask you. If he wants you to be his woman, he will ask you. He will force you. He will badger you. He will be aggressive in that pursuit.
No,
but
Rob was
being aggressive.
Very clear.
You done took everything away from him.
Here's the thing. Rob was very clear with me in terms of this is how it's gonna be. So, love you. But this whole you in one country and me in the next, not gonna work. So what I'm gonna need you to do is you don't need to bring your ass here. I mean, that was, am I wrong, babe? That was basically the conversation. Like, I want you here. I need you to be here. When are you getting here? Because this is how we gonna rock, and we're gonna do this cohabitation thing into marriage, into the future.
Yes, I'd be like, sis, chill, absolutely. And like she said, he, period, will, period, tell, period, you. I tell my daughter that almost daily. Is like, you should never have to ask a man how he feels about you. Because if there are feelings there, you'll know it. He will have aggressively told you how he feels about you. And don't let no other man convince you otherwise.
Well, I think that's some of the issues. We keep taking our brokenness into something that is whole. We're thinking that we're gonna be whole in brokenness. And so this is why I keep saying black women seek therapy. We need therapy. And then this bitch got up and left.
Right, and I think because again,
did get up and leave.
I'm thinking some of that silly shit that y'all be doing too, like side chicks. I can understand being a side nigga because it's no stress. Being a side chick makes no sense to me.
So let me explain to you. I don't know if you heard me watching the clip. So on that show, 8 at the Table, that I watch the clips every once in a while. This girl was on talking basically about that men ain't shit and men don't know how to commit, and that's why she can't be in a relationship. Then she went on to say, but I've been a side chick and I've seen how the man treated me better than his main woman. And here is the thing, ladies. I'm going to say it like I said on the show.
Yeah.
If there are no women to cheat with, men cannot cheat. You cannot put up your hand talking about I was a side chick proudly, but then in the side of your mouth say, but men ain't shit. If you did not make yourself available to be a side chick, that man couldn't be a no shit man. If there's no pussy being given up, most men are not going to just take it. You give it, he takes it. You are okay with being a side chick? He's like, okay, cool.
I'm okay with being a side dick.
So women out here talking about men ain't shit because they're out here. Well, then you are not shit either because you are allowing him to be a no shit man with you. Girl, come on. We need to call this out.
And an example of that, and like she's saying, side chick, like again, you knowingly know he's got a woman, and he may or may not be keeping it real with her about his behaviors, his activities. That really ain't got no sense of it. What kind of creature are you where someone is consistently, someone from off gate is like, yeah, you number 2.
And you're like, cool.
And hope that you're going to be number 1 one day? Why would a nigga ever make you his number 1 when he came in the door getting what he wanted from you, making you number 2, other than number 1 leaves him or dies or something like that? Then he'll make you number 1. He probably won't. He'll just get him a new number 1 and keep you number 2 because that's how men are wired. Why not? If you a side chick, so that means I get the benefits of relations and shit like that with you, but I don't got to do none of the stuff of being in any type of relationship with you. I basically come over and Netflix and chill and leave, and you're okay with that. So why would a man have a problem with that if you're okay with that? That's
so
dumb.
Again, we can't have no shit man or men ain't shit if women weren't allowing them to be a no shit man with them. Like, we really need to start using critical thinking and logical thinking, and we need to fuck our feelings, right? Like, stop operating on feelings, ladies. Let's operate on logic and facts. Fact is, no woman to cheat with, a man cannot cheat. Women not making themselves available to a cheating man, a man can't cheat. Women knowing that a man is cheating and being okay with it. Listen, at the end of the day, it is Rob's responsibility to be committed in my relationship. It is not on some other woman. However, if you think I'm going to be buddy-buddy with a woman after learning that she knew about me and then still try to pursue him and go whatever, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to argue with her. But again, I'm not going to be like, oh, girl, it ain't you. No, it is partially you. Yes, his responsibility is to me. His commitment is to me. But yes, if you knew about me, then I'm sorry. Like, you are just as fault. But again, I'm not going to take it out on you. I'm going to take it out on him. Oh, Candy Goldie Rose, what should I say?
Great story. Candy Goldie Rose shared one of them. The moral of this story: my ex married his side chick because I refused to continue with him after I found out. And now she is the side wife because he consistently cheats.
Okay.
Moral of this story is She found out about a behavior. She said, "You're not going to treat me like that." And guess what? He couldn't treat her like that no more. So what he did was said, oh, okay, like you said, he elevated the side chick up to the number one chick so he can continue to have twos, threes, fours, and fives. And look, to each their own, man. Like, but ladies, y'all really have to really follow and understand me on this, man. Like, how a man treats you is indicative of how you required him to.
Sorry.
I'll let you read that. Like, that's
Yeah,
just.
Candy Goldie Rose says she even has threesomes with him and cries to me because it don't stop him from cheating.
So she actually cries to you, the
Good
one
night.
that, because she thought she won something,
Good night.
right? She was like, yeah, he chose me, sis. No, he didn't really choose her. You moved on from the situation. And yeah, that's got to be pretty defeating to think that you're going to have threesomes with this man and he still would rather go out and do him by himself. That means, sis, yeah, you really ain't it. I hate it for her, but she got herself in that situation.
Because again, I mean, whether we like it or not, the way sometimes you go into the door, men expect that. If you go into the door with a certain type of energy, a man's like, okay, keep that energy. You can't expect, you didn't require anything of me in the beginning. So how are you going to require something of me now?
Ladies, and again, this is where that feminism gets y'all twisted. Y'all can't do what we can do. You think meeting a guy at the club, pulling him in the bathroom, having sex with him in the bathroom is going to inspire him to buy you a house? He's just trying to find a bathroom with you.
I'm stop. Good night. This is where we go. Good night. We're going to answer some of our final questions in this bowl. It is if he has any questions for us, we're going to answer these questions.
We'll finish this bowl of questions.
And then we are going to sign off for the night. We want to thank everybody for joining us. What is your question?
What kind of memories do you want to make together? Oh, the ones that we're doing now, travel memories, stepping into this new phase of life. Like we both have this vision of I don't know, this is not necessarily sustaining us, but it is something that it kind of continues itself going, you know, like I like to say, getting paid to talk, you know. Look, if Stephen A. Big Head Ass can do it, I'm certain some people might value my opinion, because unlike him, I actually did ball, you know what I'm saying? Like
that part. What inspires you? God, that is a good question. What inspires me? Getting up every day, getting to do what I do now. Getting up every day, having the support of a man I know that wants me to win. Getting up every day, having the support of people like our sponsor, Sorrel and Sage, my girl Joanne, who I know is invested in my winning. That's an inspiration for me. Having people who believe in my dream inspires me. And I have been blessed to have people in my life, especially this man besides me, who believes in my dream and supports me and rallies for me. And sometimes does things for me that I wouldn't necessarily do for myself. These mics were not necessarily anything I would have done. I would have tried to figure something out, but he believes in my dreams and he's invested in me. So that is an inspiration for me to keep going, that I have someone who and people around me that invest in me and believe me. So that inspires me.
I appreciate that too, for sure. And I want to give just a shout to, again, our audience. Like, you know, y'all mean everything right now. Like Candy Goldie Rose, thank you so much for your participation and your story and your engagement. Like, look, we ain't dumb. We, especially, you know, me, I'm very good with math and numbers. You can't have 2 million fans if you ain't got two. You know, so again, the engagement, the message that we get behind the scenes sometimes, that it's just like, you know, I learned something. Y'all made me pause. You made me think about the show the next day. Like, that is the motivation and the energy that we need to keep this kind of going, because again, we're not Kevin Samuels or, you know, them idiots, the Adas, whoever guys or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, we're not that yet. And that's really where I think, because I think that we do have something special going on in our dynamic, in that we get to validate each other. I get to talk my shit, and my woman sits up here and says, yeah, babe. And she gets to do the same thing. And we actually think we coming from a position of some sense, and we want relationships to win in the ways that they should win, not this. And we definitely, both of us, are trying to push back on the narrative that men ain't shit, because we both refuse to just believe that, especially black men. Like, it's time to just, enough is enough. It's time to push back on that bullshit and change the narrative back to where it should be, is that black men are the trendsetters of this world, because nobody has been through more, and nobody has been as resilient as black men, black families, black women. But again, if y'all being strong, ladies, what are we supposed to do?
That part. And thank you, Candy Goldie.
Thank you.
Says, I stopped work to watch y'all. We appreciate that. We're going to make you get back to work, girl.
Yeah,
we got one question each, so we can let you get back to work. We need you.
All right. If you could
travel to any country in the world for 1 month, where would you go?
Right now, it would be South Pacific somewhere, Bali, Thailand, somewhere around there, man. Okay. I want to experience that part of the world. I want to be shaking my ass on it. Yeah. I want to be like eating street food and getting to know little local people and just kind of taking it all in. But yeah, I wouldn't mind being on a nice boat with her, letting her shake her bottom.
So he wants to do like adult things, and I want to be shaking my ass on a boat in Bali. So you see the balance.
Y'all gonna see. Next time we take a trip, and when we start traveling more frequently, as the world starts to get back. As a see that that's a part of a thing, is we'll do some like vlogging and travel but with a different perspective of, again, everything we do is about changing the conversation around black relationships. So when we go to some of these places, we want to kind of share about the history and his story of some of these places that have rich Afro-Caribbean, African-American, just African period cultures. Because again, we've been here a long time, guys. Like they like to act like our history started with slavery, and it does not.
Okay. So this question is actually a question for you.
Okay.
What do I do that makes you the happiest? Oh Lord, it's not gonna be romantic, guys.
No, it's not romantic. But honestly, I what makes me happiest is just when you're in your full-fledged like you space. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's being annoying or not. Like, I remember the other day, for as much shit as you give me about being loud, you should have heard this woman watching the Raptors game the other night, where she like screamed top of her lungs, something was going on. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, you yell at me all the time for being noisy, and she just, no, you're so loud. This is how I watch basketball. If you don't like it, and I'm like, no, it's not the point. It's you get to be loud when you want to. Let me be loud without so much grief. But again, the grief, the attention to detail, the fact that I never feel like I'm not on her mind, and I kind of need that. Like, I'm a big kid. I ain't gonna lie. I need supervision.
He does, and I'm super obsessed with him. So, good night to our sponsor, Sorrel and Sage. Again, Sorrel and Sage makes skincare for the sensitive soul. They make teas, body care, skincare, self-care. They make everything. The owner, Joanne, tests everything on herself. Please, guys, go and follow them. On Instagram, it's Sorrel and Sage CA. You see Sorrel and Sage right there. And on their website, it's shopsorrelandsage.com. We want to thank everyone for joining us. Again, our mission is to change the conversation around Black relationships so we can build better Black families and better Black communities. We will see you all next week. If you have any show ideas, would like to be on the show, please DM us, or you can also email us at fyftheshow@gmail.com. Any last words, honey?
No, thanks again. Thanks for the support and the love, and see y'all next Thursday.